Thanks to those of you who have checked out my Patreon, I am able to make a new series of Pokemon Epics, and a big shout out, of course, to the Nerd Therapist. Hey Pokemon Masters, Berkey Toby here, and hey, if you can't think of a creative idea for yourself, why not just steal it from someone else? My bud MandJTV did a video talking about the 10 Pokemon that he's never used throughout his history of playing Pokemon stories that he would like to use. And that gave me an idea. Not to completely copy him, because that'd be rude, but let's change it up a little bit. Rather than the top 10 or top 5 Pokemon in his case that I've never used in a Pokemon story, and I have played a lot of Pokemon throughout my lifetime that I would like to use, let's go with the top 10 Pokemon that I've never used and probably won't, because I just don't like them that much. I know, you all thought I was Mr. Positive when it came to Pokemon on YouTube, but there are some Pokemon that even I have no interest. Heck, I'm feeling so mean today that when I ask you to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new here, I'm going to say that if you don't, I'm going to have my Snorlax here sit on you. So yeah, welcome, new Pokemon Masters. Alright, tea. What's the tea? Spill the tea. Don't spill the tea. I'm on set. So with that, I'm gonna go for it. And I want to hear in the comments which 10 Pokemon would you never, ever, ever in a million years want to use. So, Pokemon number one that I have no interest in adding to my Pokemon journeys, Dunsparce. Or number 10, rather. And the reason this is first on the list and in this particular order is because there's like a smidge, a fraction of a chance that I might want to use a Dunsparce because of the memeage at this point. But Dunsparce is it's not a good Pokemon. I mean, heck, maybe you play competitive and you think it's great, and maybe it actually is. For all I know, it's uber tier. But when it comes to this Pokemon's first generation, let's talk Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal. You find it in Dark Cave, where there's a 1% chance of encountering it. In a cave that you have absolutely no reason really to go into other than if you actively wanted to go out of your way to catch Dunsparce. And when you catch it, it's a ground type Pokemon, which poses absolutely no threat to the first gym leader, Volkner. And on top of that, I don't even know that its moves are particularly good in the Gen 2 games, which means there's really no incentive to want to use it. It's not like building it up now will prove it to evolve into something good later on, because, haha, Dunsparce doesn't evolve. So sadly, despite the fact that I've gone through Johto maybe 20 times at this point, every time I think, oh, should I go out of my way to get a Dunsparce? My immediate thought is always, no. No, why would I do that? You can equally get other early game ground Pokemon if you really want, like Onix, and at least Onix is going to evolve into the new Johto Pokemon, Steelix, later on in the game. Dunsparce, just due to the way that the games are constructed, sadly, in my opinion, he got the bad end of the stick. Moving on. Oh yeah, okay. Number 9, Seaking. So I tend to do this thing where I only really want to go through an adventure through a region using Pokemon from that region. With Kanto, I use Kanto Pokemon. With Johto, I use Johto Pokemon. Like, I'd want to use Dunsparce because it's new, but like I said earlier, Steelix is a better option. So when it comes to Seaking, I don't tend to want to use it over a generation-specific Pokemon. So whatever other gens it appears in, I know it appears in Hoenn, for example, I'm more interested in using Milotic or Swampert or Wailord or Sharpedo, and Hoenn has a lot of water Pokemon. Too much water! And Seaking, sadly, doesn't really fare up in its own generation. Starmie, Cloyster, Slowbro, Blastoise, Vaporeon, Gyarados, Lapras, the 2 fossil Pokemon, Kabutops and Omastar, plus any other Pokemon that can learn Surf. Snorlax, Nidoqueen, Nidoking. Oh heck, I even forgot Tentacruel. There are basically 10 other solid options before you get to Seaking, which in my opinion has the most underwhelming design. Oh, I forgot Poliwrath too. Sorry, there's also Poliwrath. I feel like H-Trenilium's gonna hate me now for dissing on Seaking, as well as like forgetting Poliwhirl and leaving it till last. But basically, there are better options than a Seaking. It's just a goldfish. I'm never gonna pick, Seadra as well. Okay, it never ends. Seaking, I'm sorry, but you're so bottom of the list. Number 8, similar kind of reason, Lumenion. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. I don't really care that much. See, Sinnoh, particularly in Pokemon Platinum, is one of my favorite regions, if not my favorite region of all time. And there aren't that many good other water types. I mean, you've got Bibarel, you've got Empoleon, which is obviously great if you choose the water starter. And don't get me wrong, there are other water Pokemon that you might want to pick, but there's not a lot that are kind of readily available, that are new to the Sinnoh region. However, sadly, if you're going to get a water-type Pokemon, you usually want to get it pretty early on in the game. Finneon isn't available until the late game, and the fact that none of the trainers tend to use it, like, I think there's like 2 NPCs in the whole game that have a Finneon or Lumineon. Whenever I'm completing my Platinum or Diamond and Pearl Pokedex so I can access the Power Park, I look into the Pokedex and I'm always like, what are those 2 Pokemon that I'm missing? And on several occasions now, it's always been these Pokemon. They are, sadly, I think some of the most forgettable Pokemon from their generation. I don't even know what other generation they're in, but on top of that, I think, while Finneon looks fine, Lumineon does not have the best design in the world. So sorry guys, much like Seeking, you're really bottom of the pond, pool, sea, ocean, river, body of water. Number 7! Beedrill. It's Beedrill, and this isn't because of any dislike that I have towards Beedrill. I'm probably at this point nostalgia blinded by Generation 1, and Beedrill is a fine looking Pokemon, and its Mega is really, really cool. Problem is, I simply prefer Butterfree and always have. I think Butterfree looks like it's just got more personality, and that might be because I'm familiar with it from the Pokemon animated series. Beedrill is always very bland and usually one of many. I've just never grown a kind of personal attachment to Beedrill. And in the Kanto region, Butterfree, I mean, it learns Confusion at level 10, which at that point in the game is really, really good. However, Butterfree itself never stays on my team for that long because I don't think those early game bug Pokemon are very good for lasting the long game. And so I don't tend to catch them in the first place because I don't want to waste my time training up a Pokemon just for the first 2 gyms, only to then replace it for something that I catch in the wild that's even stronger. So Beedrill never makes the cut. Number 6, similar reason, Leodin from Johto. Except this time I actually don't like the design. I love the design of Ledaba, I think it's really, really cute, but its evolution has never appealed to me, and I think I've mentioned it in my top 10 least favorite Pokemon video, or my least favorite Pokemon of each type. I mean, just when you compare it to some of the newer bug Pokemon especially, Golisopod is awesome, Heracross is in that same generation, it's awesome. Leodin is, I'm generally quite unimpressed, sadly. I'm sorry if I'm being really harsh about your favorite Pokemon. I feel like I'm being too negative right now. Although actually I realize in the grand scheme of the wide internet, I'm probably quite a beacon of positivity, but yeah, Leodin sucks. Not my favorite, probably never going to use it. Always would choose a Heracross over it because Heracross is like one of my top favorite Pokemon of all time. And even just to try something different, I would just rather avoid it. I actually nearly had a different Johto Pokemon in this place, which is Sunkern and Sunflora, but sadly I've been forced to use Sunflora at one point, which was in my run through of Pokemon Colosseum, because there's a Shadow Sunflora and you get it at an absurdly high level for that game. So it just made sense to have it. So I actually did end up using a Sunflora at some point. Okay, number 5, and I realize that the trend for this is the reason I don't want to use that Pokemon is either because I don't like the design, or there's a better option available, and that's not going to change here. Plusle and Minun. Specifically Minun because I prefer Plusle. I prefer the red one to the blue one. I think it looks cuter. I mean, it's a negligible difference, really. But the problem is, you always get those Pokemon on a route where you get Electrike, and having a Pokemon that can evolve is always far more appealing to me. On top of that, Plusle and Minun are in the game with Pikachu, and these Pokemon are individually just weaker Pikachus. It's not like Black and White where they only had Unova Pokemon and they had a Molga which had a unique typing and, you know, it was pretty good. This is just, these are Pikachu but weaker and there's 2 of them and I'm never going to want to use them over Pikachu and I'm certainly never going to want to use them over Electrike, which evolves into Manectric, which is a really cool electric Pokemon that you obtain on the exact same route where you get these Pokemon. Again, Pokemon Colosseum actually forces you to have a Plusle, but it gives it to you at level 13, which at that point in the game you should be well into your level 30s. And you're never going to take the time to level it up, even though it's perfectly designed for double battles with its helping hands. There's just always something better around the corner. Okay, actually, this next one, the next one, which is number 5 or 4, what are we on? That number there is Cherrim and Cherubi. These are Pokemon that I quite like the design of. I actually really like the design of the Sunny Day version of Cherrim, or is it Cherubi? Cherrim. I do think the design of it looks really, really cool. It's just a shame it seems to have this other design basically all of the time, apart from when you have Sunny Day going. I don't like the sundown, like it's sad and wilting version. So for me, that's a massive downside. It's actually one of the main reasons that I don't like Xerneas, is because I think its regular artwork version is absolutely stunning, and then the other version that it seems to have most of the time when it's in your party is like really depressing. Look how bland this is compared to this. Anyway, back to Cherrim. Again, being on a Sunny Day team, it could totally teach itself Sunny Day, and there's other grass Pokemon that you could have it in conjunction with, or other fire Pokemon, except, oh no wait, this is Sinnoh. We don't have fire Pokemon. We have Infernape, which is great, Rapidash, and Magmortar, which you can't get till the post game. So basically, working a Cherrim into a diverse team is really, really difficult. And then on top of that, it only appears in honey trees under really low encounter rates. Meaning that I'm probably never going to use this Pokemon and never going to go out of my way to add it to the team. Which is actually kind of sad. Right, next up, 3rd place. This is where we get to that big territory, Aromatisse. Aromatisse, as any of you who have seen my least favorite Pokemon videos will know, is one of my least favorite Pokemon. It's a fairy type, which is really cool, especially in Kalos, where you want to make the most of a new, exciting type, and Spritzy actually doesn't look all that bad. But I think Aromatisse looks pretty terrible as far as Pokemon go. And on top of that, you've got the added evolution mechanic of you have to trade it while it's holding an item. And basically, from a social standpoint, where my only other friends are Pokemon fans like myself, I don't want to lose them by going up to them and going, "Hi, could you help me evolve my Spritzy because I want an Aromatisse?" Because who wants Aromatisse? I would lose those friends so quickly. They just look at me weird. Anyway, number 2, it's Minior. I like Minior. It's actually got a really cool design and I love its shiny form. I think it's so cool, and I love the gimmick about it having different colored collectible cores. I think that's really awesome. Sadly, as a team member, it's one of those Pokemon in Alola that I got no real incentive to want to pick it up. First of all, I don't really know what its ability is, like its armor down or something. Like when it gets to half health, it loses its armor and it cracks, which doesn't that just make it weaker? It's one of those kind of like, I feel like definite tech Pokemon, and maybe there's a good way to use it in competitive. But yeah, in the Alola region, it's one of those Pokemon that doesn't evolve. And I nearly chose Pyukumuku for this spot. In fact, I think I'd probably tie them even at this point. But Minior, in the Alolan region where you've got Alolan forms and Golisopod, just that's always going to take a team slot for me because it's so cool. While I have nothing against Minior and I don't particularly dislike it, probably never going to use it. Just won't get around to it. And number 1, 6 Pokemon tied at once. Well, actually 4 Pokemon because I used 2 of them. The Elemental Monkeys, always at the top of my most disliked lists. And sadly, it's not all 6 of them. It's just the Fire line and the Water line, because I used the Grass line in my first run through of Pokemon Black version. Which is how I know I absolutely hate them mechanically, in game, their evolution method, the moves that they don't learn upon evolving, and of course, their design. Simisage looks okay, it's bearable. But Simisear and Simipour are not, they are not anything I would ever want to add onto a team. It's been joked in my Twitch chat that I should do some kind of like, someone was offering to donate money towards the channel so that I would do a guaranteed run through live where I use all 6 of these Pokemon as my party. And no, I don't know what donation amount, but nothing could compel me to want to play. I think I would end up hating Pokemon. The Elemental Monkeys are absolutely not Pokemon that I ever want to have to use on any team, and probably never ever will. But those are just the 10 Pokemon I wouldn't want to ever use on a team. I've been very negative today, I realize that. And so you need to help relieve me of my negativity by leaving a comment letting me know how right you think I am. Leave a like, make sure you're subscribed if you're new here, and if you don't, I'll have my Snorlax sit on you. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, and of course, soar high, Pokemon Masters.
This is Ash Ketchum. You just watched a video by Birdkeeper Toby. That makes you a Pokemon Master.